Museums are an integral part of the travel experience, giving travelers an opportunity to experience new aspects of culture, art, and history. There are dozens of famous collections around the world, and sometimes smaller museums get overlooked and favor more popular options like the Met or the Tate Modern. But if you're willing to venture off the beaten path, these unusual museums will surprise and delight you. Museum of Bad Art. Art is subjective, so it's refreshing to see a collection that emphasizes the types of art that you may not find in other museums. The pieces in the Museum of Bad Art, which opened in 1994, may not be Monet quality, but it's still interesting to see how lesser-known artists take on portraits and landscapes. The museum owns over 600 works, but displays 60 to 70 at a time, emphasizing the special quality that sets each one apart. Viktor Wynd Museum of Curiosities. The Last Tuesday Society operates this intimate cabinet of wonders, situated in East London. It collects everything from dodo bones to McDonald's Happy Meal toys, emphasizing both the strange and the beautiful in its displays. The exhibitions shift occasionally, and there are frequent events and talks offered in the space. Admission to the museum includes a free cup of tea. Museum of Bread Culture. A museum centering on the history of grain and bread may seem dull, but this museum in Ulm takes a fascinating look at how bread has shaped human civilization throughout time. There are 18,000 objects, including sculptures, paintings, and artifacts, and the museum examines both how bread has been depicted over time and how humans relate to it via culture and religion. There are even pieces by Picasso and Dali in the mix. Meguro Parasitological Museum. A museum dedicated to parasites may seem strange, but it's actually quite interesting to visit this small collection in Tokyo's Meguro district. It offers an educational look at the science of parasitology, revealing how parasites interact with the natural world and with the human body. There is even a 29-foot-long tapeworm, which is sure to instill both fear and awe in the viewer. Museum of Broken Relationships. The Museum of Broken Relationships started in Croatia, inspired by the artifacts left behind after a breakup. It's since expanded to Los Angeles, as well as into a virtual collection of objects offered up by broken-hearted people around the world. It's a true example of crowdsourcing, as all of the displays are donated by real people dealing with real heartbreak. Some of it is bizarre, some depressing, and all of it really relatable. Museum of Food and Drink. There are actual edible exhibitions in this museum, the world's first large-scale museum dedicated to food and beverage consumption. The displays encourage you to use all your senses and to participate in the learning experience. It's all about understanding better how we relate to the food we eat, and the museum offers events and special exhibits that expand on that idea. Tickets include unlimited fortune cookies, and a food tasting, in the price, so you'll want to go hungry. Kunstkamera. The Kunstkamera was Russia's first museum, built back in 1727 by Peter the Great. The ethnographic museum collects an incredible amount of natural objects and historical items, and it's housed in a massive, beautiful building that's worth the price of admission alone. The first scientific collections of the Kunstkamera is a highlight, revealing animal and plant specimens from the 18th century, which include an amazing two-headed calf. Arnold Schwarzenegger Museum. Terminator fans should head to Thau, a small town outside Graz, where Arnold Schwarzenegger's childhood home has been transformed into a museum. The museum, which opened in 2011, is filled with artifacts and photos from Schwarzenegger's life, and it even includes some of his first dumbbells and the bed he slept in as a kid. The former governor of California has even given the museum his blessing, which means you can be sure of its authenticity. American Visionary Art Museum. The American Visionary Art Museum believes that an artist doesn't have to be famous or trained in a fancy art school to get their work displayed. This collection emphasizes people who are self-taught and amateur, but who have an innate personal vision that revels foremost in the creative act itself. That means that the collection of 4,000 over pieces is truly unusual, with artwork unlike any you've ever seen, and it should give you the encouragement you need to go home and paint something.